Ever felt like your anger was about to explode in a high-stress situation? You're not alone. It's a common scenario for most of us, especially for men over 25, often finding ourselves at the mercy of our tempers. Building on the insights from Anger Management 10.1, we're here to delve deeper, offering practical and tailored approaches to managing that anger. In this video, we're going beyond the ordinary. We're about to embark on a journey to transform chaotic anger into controlled responses. How, you ask? By embracing the wisdom of the Stoics, ancient philosophers who mastered the art of emotional resilience. We'll provide a step-by-step guide, incorporating their teachings into our modern lives, from understanding the root of your anger, to developing immediate responses to diffuse it, from long-term strategies to transform it. We'll cover it all. So, are you ready to master your anger? To turn it into a tool for growth rather than a weapon of self-destruction? Let's dive in. To conquer anger first, we need to understand it. Let's begin by exploring what typically ignites the flame of anger in men. Common stressors often include high-pressure work environments, the frustration of traffic jams, or the strain of family disputes. These situations can feel like a spark landing on a pile of dry tinder, ready to ignite a fiery reaction. But here's where we need to pause and examine our perception. Is it the situation itself causing the anger? Or is it our reaction to the situation? This is where we introduce the Stoic perspective on emotions. In Stoicism, a central tenet is that we don't have control over external events, but we do have control over how we respond to them. This means that anger, in essence, is not an external event, but our internal reaction to it. It's a reaction often fueled by our expectations, our judgments, and our perceptions of the world around us. Imagine you're stuck in a traffic jam. You're late for an important meeting and the stress levels are mounting. What's really causing the anger, the traffic jam, or your reaction to it? According to Stoicism, it's the latter. It's your expectations about how the traffic should flow, your judgment about what this delay might mean for your day, and your perception of the situation that stoke the flames of anger. The same logic applies to other stressors. Whether it's a high-pressure work situation or a heated family dispute, the anger you feel is a reaction to these events, not the events themselves. This perspective shift is crucial in mastering anger. By understanding that we have the power to control our reactions, we suddenly find ourselves in the driver's seat. The traffic jam, the demanding boss, the family dispute, these are all external events that we can't control. But our reactions, those are entirely up to us. So, the next time you feel the heat of anger rising, take a moment to reflect. Is it the situation causing the anger, or is it your reaction to it? Remember, anger is a reaction, not an event, and reactions can be controlled. Now that we understand anger, let's learn how to cool it down instantly. The first step towards mastering your anger is recognizing its signs early. You see, anger doesn't just spring up out of nowhere. It starts as a tiny spark before evolving into a full-blown fire. You might notice your fists clenching, your breathing becoming faster, or a knot in your stomach. It's in these moments that anger begins to take root. Recognizing these signs is crucial, as it's the first step towards cooling down your fury. So, how do you do this? It's all about becoming more aware of your body and your emotions. Pay attention to how you're feeling throughout the day. Notice any changes in your body, your thoughts, or your feelings. The more you practice this, the better you'll become at catching these early signs of anger. Now let's move to the second step, the pause technique. This method is as straightforward as it sounds, but don't be fooled by its simplicity. It's a powerful tool that can help you diffuse the immediate intensity of your anger. Imagine you're in the middle of a heated argument. You feel your blood boiling, your heart pounding, and your anger rising. This is the perfect moment to employ the pause technique. All you need to do is stop. Just stop. Freeze in place, take a deep breath, then start counting to 10. 1, 2, 3, and so on until you reach 10. As you count, focus on each number. Feel the space between your thoughts expand. This simple act of pausing and counting to 10 can help you regain control of your emotions. Why does this work? Well, when you're angry, your body is in a state of high alert. It's preparing for a fight or flight response. By pausing and counting to 10, you're interrupting this process. You're giving your body and your mind a chance to cool down. Remember, it's not about suppressing your anger. It's about managing it. Anger, like any other emotion, is a natural part of being human. It's okay to feel angry. What matters is how you respond to that anger. The recognition and pause techniques are just two of the many ways you can manage your anger. They are simple, effective, and can be used in any situation. The key is to practice them regularly. The more you use these techniques, the better you'll become at controlling your anger. Don't wait for a high-stress situation to practice these techniques. Start today. Pay attention to your body and your emotions. Notice any signs of anger. Practice pausing and counting to 10. Make these techniques a part of your daily routine. With recognition and pause, you now have two powerful tools to cool down your fury instantly. Remember, mastering anger isn't about eliminating it. It's about understanding it, managing it, and using it as a tool for growth and self-improvement. Immediate responses are great, but what about long-term strategies? Let's dive into the realm of reflection and planning. Two pillars of Stoicism. Reflecting on your daily events that triggered anger can be an enlightening exercise. It's like peering into a mirror that reveals not just your face but your inner workings. You may have noticed that certain situations, people, or even times of the day set off your anger. Maybe it's the morning traffic or that one coworker who always seems to push your buttons. Or perhaps it's the pile of dishes left unwashed by your roommate. Whatever it is, identifying these patterns and triggers is the first step to gaining control over your anger. To begin your reflection practice, take a few quiet moments each day to replay the events in your mind. Ask yourself, what made me angry today? And why did it make me angry? Be patient with yourself. The answers may not come immediately, but they will, eventually. This practice doesn't mean you are dwelling on the negatives. Instead, think of it as a detective piecing together clues. Your anger isn't the enemy. It's a signpost, pointing you to the parts of your life that need your attention. Now, once you've identified your triggers, it's time to plan your responses. This is where the Stoic principle of prosoch, or mindfulness, comes into play. Stoics believed in the power of the present moment. They understood that the past is unchangeable and the future is uncertain, but the present is within our control. So how do we plan constructive responses? Imagine you're about to face a known trigger. Visualize the situation. Feel the rush of anger starting to bubble within you. Now, instead of letting it explode, picture yourself acknowledging the anger, taking a deep breath, and choosing a different response. Maybe you decide to step away for a moment, or you choose to address the issue calmly. Perhaps you even manage a chuckle at the absurdity of the situation. The point is, you have options. Anger doesn't have to be your default setting. And remember, response planning is not about suppressing your emotions. It's not about putting on a stoic mask and pretending everything is fine. It's about shifting your perspective, understanding that you have the power to choose your response in any given situation. With this approach, you're not just managing your anger, you're transforming it. You're taking this raw, fiery emotion and molding it into something constructive. It's like turning a lump of clay into a beautiful sculpture. It's a process, of course. You won't get it right every time. There will be days when you'll lose your cool. And that's okay. What matters is that you're making progress. Progress, not perfection, is the goal. With reflection and response planning, you're ready to tackle anger in the long run. You're not just surviving your anger, you're mastering it. And in the process, you're becoming a more balanced, more resilient, and more stoic man. But what if you could use your anger for something productive? Let's find out how. Anger is often seen as a destructive force, something to be suppressed or eliminated. But consider this. What if we could harness this energy and redirect it towards something positive? The Stoic philosophers believed that we could do just that. First, let's talk about channeling anger. Visualize your anger as a powerful river. Left unchecked, it can cause destruction, eroding your relationships, your work, even your sense of self. But if we build the right structures, we can direct this river's force to turn the wheels of productivity. For instance, physical activity is a fantastic outlet. You may have noticed how a brisk walk or a workout session can help clear your mind when you're upset. That's because physical exertion releases endorphins, the body's natural mood lifters. You could also channel your anger into creative projects. Ever noticed how some of the greatest pieces of art, music, and literature were born out of intense emotion? Anger can be a powerful muse, fueling your creativity and providing a cathartic outlet for your feelings. Now let's move on to Stoic exercises. The Stoics believed in the power of perspective to tame our emotional responses. One such exercise is the view from above. Imagine looking down at your life from a great height, like an eagle soaring in the sky. From up here, the things that make us angry seem smaller, less significant. That driver who cut you off in traffic, just another speck on the road. That argument at work, a tiny blip in the vast expanse of your career. This exercise helps us realize that, in the grand scheme of things, most of what angers us is trivial. It's a powerful tool to reduce the impact of anger on our lives. Remember, the goal here isn't to suppress or deny your anger. It's to acknowledge it, understand it, and then channel it into something productive. It's about taking control of your emotional responses, not letting them control you. In doing so, you're not just managing your anger. You're transforming it into a force for positive change. You're using it as a catalyst for personal growth, for becoming a better version of yourself. And isn't that the ultimate goal of Stoicism? To use every experience, every emotion, as an opportunity for growth and self-improvement. So the next time you feel the heat of anger rising within you, don't just react, pause, reflect, and then channel that energy into something constructive. Remember, your anger is a powerful force. Use it wisely and it can propel you forward, helping you overcome obstacles and achieve your goals. Channel your anger into something constructive and see the difference it makes. Let's quickly summarize what we've learned today. We began by understanding that anger is not an external event, but our reaction to it. It's a natural response to stressors, whether that's a traffic jam or a heated family dispute. But the beauty of the Stoic philosophy is that it teaches us we have the power to control our reactions. We then moved on to immediate responses to cool down fury. Recognition is the first step. Acknowledge the physical signs of anger, like clenched fists or rapid breathing. Follow it up with the pause technique, a simple yet powerful tool. By physically pausing and counting to 10, we can diffuse the immediate intensity of anger and give ourselves time to respond thoughtfully. Next, we delved into long-term strategies. Reflection is key. By reflecting on the events that trigger our anger, we can identify patterns and work on them. And then there's response planning. It's about preparing constructive responses in advance for those potential triggers. It's not about avoiding anger, but managing it. We also talked about transforming anger into productive energy. Instead of letting anger control us, we can channel it into positive outcomes like physical activity or creative projects. Stoic exercises like the view from above can help us gain perspective and reduce the impact of anger on our lives. Remember, these aren't just strategies for managing anger. They're tools for personal growth. They can help us become more patient, more resilient, and more focused. So here's a challenge for you. Try to implement one new technique each week. See how it changes your response to anger. And don't forget to share your progress. It's always inspiring to hear how others are mastering their anger and growing in the process. Control your anger before it controls you. Harness the power of Stoicism to lead a calmer, more focused life.